Hello and welcome back to FiddleUP. So we're going to learn how to tune today. And for this little experiment, I'm going to be using a clip-on tuner. You can use a clip-on tuner. There are some tuners that clip on up here. They're just a really simple, handy-dandy little thing to stick in your fiddle case. You can also use an old school tuning fork, which is exactly what it looks like, is a little two-pronged little metal fork, and you hit the prongs and it goes ah, and then you put the ball end onto the fiddle and it makes it ring out so you can hear that A440. And so A440, 440 is the number of the frequency, it's the number of hertz. So that's what we start with. And when you hear an orchestra tuning, then they're tuning to A440. So we'll start off. You can also tune to another instrument. You can tune to a piano that you have. You can tune to another instrument that's already tuned. If one of your guitars or other instruments are sitting around and they're already in tune, then you can just take an A and start from there. You can also use an app. There are many tuning apps that you can use. My favorite is ClearTune, and I think that's available on all of the thingies. But ClearTune is the one I often see professionals using. So that's a really good one to use. It's very visual. You know, you can see the little thing going back and forth. So it's very easy to use, very accurate. And so we're going to start off with your A string, which is the second one in from the top. You have your top string is an E, and then you have an A, and the second one to the bottom is a D, and then you have a G on the bottom. So we're going to just start off with your A string. And so mine is in tune for now. It had to be in tune to play that tune at the top. But I'm going to watch my tuner and see if it's telling me that I'm sharp or flat. So every tuner will have a different way of telling you this, and it should be pretty obvious if you're too low or you're too high. So one thing you can do is you can use your pegs, and there's two different ways you can use your pegs. And we'll practice those right now. So the easiest way to use your pegs is just to take the fiddle down. And you can pluck the string with your left hand. So I have my left hand here holding onto the neck, and I'm using my thumb to pluck the A string. And so I'm going to take my thumb and my index finger on the A string. You can follow it up to the top. The A string is the top right peg. And what you want to do when you're tuning is always go down first. You always kind of want to go down slightly and then come back up. So you can use your tuner to go down just a little bit and then come back up. So my peg is cracking a little bit because it's very old. It needs a little bit of a refitting. So the pegs aren't really supposed to do that. Some of them do. But just so you know, that's not necessarily a good thing or a normal thing. But my pegs are ancient because they belong to they're 120 years old, just like the fiddle is. So I kind of deal with them. And so you can tune it down and up just like that. You know, you can use your tuner to see if it's sharp or flat. You can also try that on your D string. So you can swap hands, grab the neck of your fiddle with your right hand, and then use your right thumb to pluck the D string, which is the other middle string. It's the one second to the bottom. And you can do the same thing with your peg. So index finger, this is your left hand, by the way, index finger and thumb. We're going to go down first. And back up. So you can use that to get close. Another thing that's good to remember about when you do this, and we'll do this again on the D string, if you're noticing that it's slipping out, what you have to do is push in as you go, because this is a tapered peg. So you have to create some friction as you're going. So let's try that one more time. You're going to just pull down and then go back up. And when you go back up, we're going to push in just a little bit. So it takes a while to get used to the feel of that. You might struggle with it at first. That's perfectly normal. It's kind of tricky. I've been obviously doing this for a long time, so it's easy for me, but don't take that as not a normal process if you're struggling to get that peg in. You know, when you're first learning how to change strings, tune the thing, it's a whole learning process. So be patient with yourself. This is very hard, and you're a very courageous person for trying this instrument. It's super hard. So let's try that with the G string just really quickly. The G string is the thickest one on the bottom. And again, right hand on the neck, plucking with my right thumb, and left hand will just go down and come back up. There we go. So that's close enough for doing it this way. So that's a good thing to do, by the way. I just did that this morning because we're in the middle of a change of season at the moment. It's just become fall. And that's a really good time if you don't usually use your pegs, you use a lot of fine tuners. You definitely want to go through at least once a month, at the very least once a season, and make sure your pegs aren't stuck, because the wood does shrink and contract with the weather. You'll notice that when you get into the winter and things get really cold, all of a sudden, suddenly your pegs will slip because the wood shrank. So be aware of that. So the other way that you can do this is you can take your you can use your pegs this way. I'm not going to go over this in this section. I'm going to save that for a little bit later. But you can also use your pegs this way. I think that in the beginning, that's a bit too hard. I usually recommend that people get fine tuners in the beginning. So we'll save that for another day. So if you've gotten kind of close with your pegs up here, then we're going to start off with your fine tuners to get them really in tune. So how you use your fine tuners is a little funky. So what you want to do is position yourself, get your shoulder rest, drop your chin into the chin rest, and then I'm going to play the A string, and I'm going to bring my right hand around. And this is very awkward at first, but this is how you have to do what you have to do to get to your fine tuners. So if you notice, you have to be able to hold on with your chin to even be able to do this. But what you're going to do is just play your A string. And I'm going to tune my fine tuner up or down. It's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So if you go up, then I'm going to turn to the right, give it a good few turns. You hear it got sharper there, and now I'm going to go back down. Oh, my tuner went to sleep. See where we are. Okay, I'm a little sharp still. I'm just going to adjust that back down until my tuner's happy. There we go. So the A is in tune. So what you can do from here is you can also do it by ear. So if you have your A, it's not totally happy, but it's close enough. You can also do this by ear. So you can go from A. You can sing down 5 notes. You can just go down a major scale. A, D. So my tuner is telling me you need to come up a little bit. So it's a little close to what I was singing there. D. So then you can do the same thing from D to G. D, G. And that's a little sharp. My tuner is telling me I'm sharp too. So I'm going to go down, lefty-loosey. There we go. So A, D, D, G. And then from A, you would go up 5 notes. A. So that my tuner's telling me I'm a little flat. That sounds right to my singing. And there we go. And so when your ears get a little bit better, you can go ahead and listen to the pulses and all that stuff. But you don't have to worry about that right now. You can just go with the tuner, get close enough, and then start practicing your tunes. Great. I hope that was helpful. Thank you so very much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.